So with us, we have Matt Schellinger from SCDH, South Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, and he's going to present Autokube Immutable Infrastructure, and Matt is a very smart guy, so I totally am in tune with this presentation. I hope you all are too. So with that, I will turn it over to Matt, and let's have some fun.
So are you able to share with them the?
Oh yeah. All right, hold on. Yeah, let's do that.
Kubernetes cluster document.
Yep.
That's pretty much where we're going to start. So you're sharing your screen. If you just bring up the document, should be able to do that.
Oh,
the actual large document there.
That one, not that one. Blake?
You should have had to have downloaded it. It's fairly large, so what makes it download it.
Shoot. Where'd you go? You share it with me? Sorry, I had it and then I lost it.
Just hit download.
Here we go.
And then open with whatever you have to open it with. LibreOffice or anything like that. I don't know what you're running. You're on Linux.
It's MHT. It wants to do with Internet Explorer. Is that right?
Shot, man. See if it'll open. I don't care. I do everything in Chrome, so I have no idea if it'll open it or not. And there you go.
Okay. All right.
So as long as everybody can see that, if you'll maximize it, we'll start talking about it a little bit.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and maximize that. There we go. I was still sharing my screen, so let me just make sure that that we're still doing it. Here's Jitsi Meet. Can you all still hear me? And we're all able to see that screen? No. Nice boy.
They can't hear you, or they can't see your screen.
Here, I'm going to switch back to the screen. Now, can you all see Kubernetes cluster prerequisites? I'm gonna switch back to Jitsi for a second. Can't see the screen.
Can't see the screen.
Gotta fix that. Okay. Let's try application window.
Select the next one.
Yeah. That's it, right? And then
so you got there you go. And now hit share. There you go. Now everybody should be able to see it.
Okay. All right. Y'all should see that now. All right. We're good. Take it away, Matt.
Hey, Ben.
You jumped off of it.
Hey, Jace.
There you go. Back on it now. All right. Beautiful.
Okay.
So everybody should be able to see it.
Yeah.
All right,
Jace, can you see all that now?
We can see Kubernetes cluster.
All right, good. Awesome.
Outstanding. So I don't really know everybody's background, and
Obvious.
that's okay. If you like to play with this stuff and you're a tinkerer, this first document is going to be right up your alley because you can copy and paste. If you're a Windows guy and you like playing with Linux through MOBA Xterm, that's the way I initially learned. And this document's set up to where you can copy and paste chunks of it into MOBA Xterm, so you can open up multiple SSH windows and play around with the different pieces and see what they do. To be able to actually run this, you've got some prerequisites that you'll need to do, either with Red Hat or, can I use your?
Yeah.
You just lost your power plug. You scroll down a little bit where you get to the prerequisites portion of it. Initially, I set everything up on RHEL 7.5. It works with any CentOS, any Debian, any whatever flavor you like. Really, it works with anything. With Red Hat, though, you've got to register it and add a few of your subscription manager information things there for your repositories and so forth. If you have an opportunity to play along with this, all of this code will work except for the Red Hat code, right? So your subscription manager won't work, but disabling the firewall, any kind of yum commands are still going to work. And you can literally copy everything from your hash where it says stop and disable firewall all the way down to adding your repositories. As long as you have internet access, reach out to Docker and start installing your Docker versions of it. I have it set up for Docker EE, Docker C. E works just fine as well. What's that?
It's like coffee.
Okay. Yeah, so Docker CE works just fine. You don't have to use EE. The only reason I used EE on it was because we wanted a repository that could be scanned to make sure our images were safe and secure and all that kind of good stuff. But I did set it up for local repositories also, so you can, point it to your local drive if you want to, whatever that might be. From there, I added the Kubernetes repo. Kind of follow along with it. And if you want me to slow down, I'll slow down. But if you want to play with it, and you got multiple screens, you can literally copy between hashes.
Now we're still stuck on Kubernetes cluster page. Have you gone beyond that?
Yeah, I've already scrolled down quite a bit. I'm in the install Docker and list Docker version. What are you seeing?
We're seeing the top of the Kubernetes cluster page. Prerequisites, master and node.
Yeah, oh boy, I've already moved way down. Yeah, so I'm scrolling down, and actually, I guess it's just not showing you on your screen. I'm not sure. Hold on a minute.
Let me.
I see your mouse move.
I'm going to stop sharing and reshare. No, let's see. Application window. Nice cluster. Share. All right. Are you seeing the small text?
Yeah. Install Docker, list Docker version.
Yeah. That's it.
So was I able to send you the actual documents? I'm not sure who I'm speaking with.
That's Jace.
Hey, Jace, this is Matt. Hey, did I send you the document?
In what way?
Can I send you an email with the document? Do you have the
Email.
document?
Oh, I haven't checked my email today. So maybe. I don't know.
What would you like me to send it? I'm offering.
Yeah. Do you have our mailing list?
No, sir.
I'll get them your mailing list and we'll forward it.
It might be easier if I could forward it to him. He could follow along rather than trying to look at it through the browser, but that's okay. So we started back up top. We were talking about Red Hat. Let me know if you're able to see the top of the line should be prerequisites right now.
It seems to be on a different monitor.
Are you on a different screen than the Jitsi screen that we're seeing?
No, sir. I'm actually working off of Ben's machine who's doing the presentation. Can you stop and reshare again?
Yeah. I
I'm
did
not
this.
sure why it's doing that. It's not refreshing. That's really strange.
Yeah. Okay. Let me try sharing the entire screen again. There we go. Share. And then go back to.
There you go. Now, can you see it?
All right. Are you seeing prerequisites now?
Yes, prerequisites. Base install rel 7.5.
Yep. You got it.
Sweet. So when I originally wrote this script, I know we're way out of versioning here, but when I first wrote the script, it was in 110 for Kubernetes. I think we're up to like 113 or 114 now in beta, but still everything applies. It still works the same.
Would you, for good measure, would you just mind scrolling up and down so we can see that it scrolls up and down?
Yes, sir.
There we go. Thank you.
All right.
Hey. Okay, sweet. All right, so started with 7.5, did Kubernetes 1.0, and that's what this is for. And this basically runs off any of your yum commands. Even when I did it in Ubuntu, I still installed the yum. Got away from the apt-get and all that crap. Whatever. I like yum, so that's okay. That's just my personal preference. If you have a personal flavor that that you like, just remove the Red Hat subscription information and so forth. All your Yum commands are going to work. Your systemctl, all that kind of stuff is going to continue to work. If you just basically copy and paste that script. Well, I don't know if I really want to go over all that again.
2 years now.
No. Don't go over it again. Were you gonna give us a demo? Had you already started a demo or anything like that?
I chose not to. I couldn't get my VBox connected to an external client. I think Ben was having the same problem with it. I actually wanted you guys to have the documentation and play with it. The big document that I sent you breaks it down into modules. I don't know if you heard me say that. But each of those modules from the hash all the way to the end is broken out where you can run them separately, each one by one, so that you can see what it does and the changes that it makes to the system. So the big document, if you want to tab back over to the big document. One more.
Oh, one more.
Yeah, one more right there. So this particular document here, if you scroll all the way up to the top and start breaking it down, each piece of it is its own separate module. So installing Helm, all the pieces and chunks. I didn't know what flavor of Linux you guys like playing with. So this is written for either CentOS or any Yum product, and it'll work with that. If you don't use a Yum product and you use apt-get, if you like using apt-get, you just have to modify the code for that. But if you look at the way this is broken down, each particular section tells you exactly what it's doing. So, you're modifying the cache, Yum make cache fast. You're modifying the repository. What'd you do?
Okay.
Hey, we might have missed it at the very beginning, but we probably settled for like a 60-second overview of what Autokube is.
Yeah, no
Generally.
problem. That's great. So the SH, I sent out an SH and a text file and then this larger file. The larger file pretty much breaks down all the pieces and parts. What the Autokube SH does for you, if you were to use it right off the bat, you would create a kickstart file off of your RHEL 7.5 installation. You would add that SH to the back end on your PostScript. So when it finished the installation, minimal installation, run the PostScript, it'll take you from 0 to production, running, ready to go, and install the cubes, or install pods and namespaces and so forth. Start posting your YAML in less than 42 minutes.
Okay, so this script is part of your at the end of your build. Then is that what you're telling us?
Yeah. So if you do just a minimal build on 7.5, whatever you have if you have a kickstart that you use for 7.5, I'm just specifically talking about RHEL right now, or Red Hat. At the end of it, you would add that PostScript, right? The SH, and that SH is going to actually go out to the internet and pull down every version that you saw, install it, set all your context, and you're done.
Great.
So if you look at the larger document breaks it down into chunks so that you know what every piece is doing, right? So you're modifying your config for your extras, you're installing Linux, you're installing your extras, your SE Linux, and you're setting everything. So what I did in the larger document was to break it down. Every particular change, you've got the reason why it makes that change and why you need it. So rather than me just showing you how it's done, I'm giving you the tools basically to go out and fish. So here it is exactly how I did it, including what you're seeing there, which is my local repositories, which you can set up on a thumb drive or an external drive or whatever you want. All your downloads can go on that. So however you want to manage your images is up to you. And then I break it down. Sorry.
I was gonna say so then based on this, once you've kickstarted and you've run these these after scripts, then you've got on several machines, then you've got a Kubernetes cluster then?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
You follow the one SH for master and the other SH for node. The thing that I left out, and this is what you guys didn't hear me saying, the challenge is that I left out on purpose how to create the multiple master environment. So you can add as many nodes as you want to this with only one single master. I didn't cover how to, I'm not showing you in this, how to set up the etcd cluster and your multiple master cluster that you would need in order to have multiple masters.
Okay.
That's what truly makes it fail over. So what I was challenging the group with was figure it out, and then you're the guy I want to actually talk to because I want to compare notes with you, because it took me a long time to figure that out. It took me 78 times of failing to get this document right. And that's not joking at all. I mean, 78 times I tore down my cube and rebuilt it until I got every iota of every piece of it figured out and documented.
So I switched to the desktop to give the audience a chance of seeing what etcd looks like compared to the nodes that you would have. And
so exactly what you're looking at here on the screen is the script that I gave you. It gives you one master and multiple nodes. It gives you the scheduler. It gives you the control manager. It gives you the UI that you can play with if you wanted to mess around with like C Advisor or any of the other type of things that are kind of cool from the UI perspective. I didn't really do a whole lot in the UI. I did most of it CLI, but whatever you prefer, whatever you like. But the code that I just shared with you does that whole thing that you're seeing on the screen there.
Cool.
so etcd should be running across these nodes?
Nope.
Or just as one
No, you
instance?
should never have etcd running on your nodes, your worker nodes.
Should this be more than
you have
one
a
instance?
control? You have a control plane and a data plane, right?
Yeah.
So your control plane is your masters, your data plane is your nodes, as I think the proper terminology for AWS now.
Yeah.
So on your control plane, what you need to do is set up a multiple etcd cluster that's separate from the master role. What that means is you're starting to get a little bit of container bloat.
Yeah.
So I could do that on one server, but it's the way that you break it out from there. So you're going to need probably three servers in your etcd cluster, 3 servers on your API server, and then the API server will then have your control plane and your schedule and all that good stuff on it. I just kind of gave you a hint as what you have to do on that. And there's no other way of doing it. But when you build it out that way, I can add additional etcd machines to it. Once you change the script and you get the script right, you can just keep adding to it. So as your ephemeral memory needs expand, you can add more nodes to it. The only thing that you can't do is you can't promote a worker node to a control plane node. All right, so that's one of the fallbacks that I found. So yeah, your bin bash there, that's the SH I was talking about. If you just tag that at the end of your base installation, if you do like a minimal installation with a Kickstarter file on Red Hat.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's familiar with Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But at the end of your Kickstart, you can tell it to run additional files.
Yeah.
That's the file. Just save it as an SH, and you can run it at the end, and you just watch it do it. It just does it all for you.
So you mentioned Alpine, the tiny Linux distribution that can be as small as 2 megabytes.
Yep.
This script works with Alpine?
Yep, 100%.
Holy moly.
Yeah, super
I'm
fast.
totally doing that.
Super fast. And you don't have to have the big version of Alpine. You can do the smaller version. I forget the proper name for it, but the smaller version of Alpine, let me look it up real quick. I did it on the tiny one, which just runs off RAM.
Yeah.
And it works just fine.
Make it super fast.
Yeah. So what is it called? It is called not the standard version. It is the mini root file system.
That rings a bell.
Mini root or extended. It's one of the smaller versions, either mini root or one of the ones up top. I think it was mini root.
We have a question here.
Yes, sir.
So how does this compare or contrast with just building a swarm with Docker nodes or Docker swarm? How does Kubernetes, what does Kubernetes bring to the table that doesn't already exist in a Docker swarm?
Absolutely.
Did you hear the question?
Yeah, I did. Yes, sir. Absolutely nothing, in my opinion. You could just as well have done this with Docker Swarm as you could with Kubernetes. I think from the DevOps side of the house, there seems to be more folks enjoying Kubernetes. I see more folks developing things for Kubernetes, and Docker Swarm seem to have kind of fallen off. But that again is just an opinion. I haven't seen a real difference between the two, and I've been able to do the same with both. So, you know, it came down to personal preference. I personally like Kubernetes better. That was about it. Yeah.
I think Docker.
Could you- Would it be useful to have something like this, or is there something like this for like Lambda functions on AWS?
Oh man, so we want to get into AWS. So I can run the whole damn thing off Lambda functions now. I don't even need Kubernetes for that crap. I mean, you can run entire companies off of just Lambda functions.
Yeah.
So that's what are we talking about now? All right, so yeah, that's the next step in evolution, in my opinion, when it comes to containerization and using someone else's resources to get my job done. To me, that's what Lambda does, right? So you can literally use Amazon's entire function suite to do a lot of the repetitive services. Again, EKS, you know, you can stand up Kubernetes right there on the box. You don't need any of the scripting. You don't need anything that I just shared with you. What this does, what I shared with you does, is brings it in-house so that you kind of get, what I found was the commercial environment, when they look at the cost, the older, and this is why when I started the conversation, I said we need to get rid of some of the older CIOs out there. When they look at it, most of the older CIOs out there want to see blinky lights. So how do I maximize that investment and show them blinky lights and use it to still get what I need to get done accomplished, right? So what that script helped me do was actually take old bare metal that we had laying around and make one single compute out of my data center. So anything they wanted to throw away, I just added to my cluster. It became part of the cube, right? So I ended up with more horsepower than anybody in the whole organization. So then now it became production. Okay, well, if you want it to continue to production, you extend the warranties on it and all that kind of stuff. You got to do it. All right, so we look at the cost comparison of that. I was working for a property casualty company, which I think is named all over that document I sent you. Please sanitize it. Please don't send me to jail. You know, when I worked for them, and we looked at the cost comparison about what we were trying to do internally and what it would cost us to do it on EKS or EC2, the costs were through the roof. Plus, they wanted to see proof in the pudding. Can you actually do this? Yeah, I can do it. No problem. Here you go. Bang. It's done. With that, it brought in AWS, and now they're slowly adopting AWS into the environment and actually getting a cost comparison, a real cost comparison based on usage. And the way that it's designed is that the containers are only spun up when they're needed. Some of the functions are covered through Lambda. I think there's definitely room to move into what's it called? Firecracker for AWS is what I was reading about the other day.
Yeah.
So that was really exciting to see that, right? That was really exciting to see that they're actually seeing some containerization at that layer rather than the abstract layer, which is what Kubernetes and Docker Swarm is. So
they've open sourced it.
Yeah, right. So Microsoft jumped on board there. Microsoft's release their code to their operating systems.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Right. So yeah, man, I'm digging all that kind of stuff. I don't know where exactly it fits in to the Kubernetes environment or the containerization environment, other than repetitive tasks. I see Lambda really fitting in those repetitive. Well, thank you.
Sorry, that was bleed over from the meeting next door.
Fine, I thought it was me.
Now, now
Oh,
we're actually talking. That's actually us.
cool, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man, you're welcome. I hope you play with it and have fun. And you know, I want to talk to the first person that figures out the multi-master. If you dig playing with it, now I've run these things on Raspberry Pis. I've ran these things on thumb drives. I've ran these things on you name it, it will run it. You should be able to run it. You know, if you're a tinkerer like me, you should be able to run it anywhere, play with it, and get it to run. So it doesn't take a lot of resources.
I think Matt said 2 CPUs and 4 gig of RAM will run it.
I don't even think it needs that much. That's just what I used. I mean, I don't even think it needs that much, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I played around with VBox and had multiple VBoxes running and off my own, PC as it was running. So
What part of the quote is Terraform specific?
So what Terraform lets me do, and the reason why I like Terraform is because it integrates into Bitbucket and Bamboo for my repository. So what it allows your developers to do is have one-click reversion or one-click deployment. One of the benefits of the immutable environment is just that. You don't think of it the same way that you do traditionally, to where you have to go in and figure it out and troubleshoot it and triage it and look at this and look at that. You just simply destroy it and rebuild it. So if you did have somebody that made a mistake into something, and it's part of your foundation or your fabric, you just simply kill it, rerun the script, and it's right back to where it needs to be.
So you could run an entire patching cycle, and if something bad happened because of the patching, just
Roll it right back.
roll back the entire system.
You just destroy it and recreate it, and that's the Terraform helped me with that. So it's just one click, one button, and it never changed. So it was all source controlled and things of that nature through Bitbucket, Bamboo, excuse me. That was, so if we could look at the sources, we could have multiple environments, multiple development environments going at the same time, each of them testing different containers or different modules of the containers. And wherever they had a problem, it was just one click away from rebuilding that environment. And it's right back to where it was before they started. And that wasn't 42 minutes. That was literally, once this was done, it was, it was anybody could click the button to revert it back on their environment, which allowed us to have 16 different environments that people were playing in.
That's huge. Yeah. Well, I can tell you this is the first presentation of Autokube that I as far as I'm concerned, because I looked for it all over the internet. It wasn't there.
You're
this
not
is the
going to
first
find
time.
it on the internet. I have not published it out there. I've not put it on GitHub.
Yeah.
That say, you're welcome to tinker around with it and play with it. I have no problem with it. Share it with whoever. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a money making thing. Everybody's doing it. They just kind of keep it to themselves. I believe in, what we're doing now. Let it out there. Play with it. Have fun.
Does it have
So send us a link to your GitHub page when you do that.
I didn't hear you.
He wants the link to his GitHub page when you do that.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, no problem.
Are you gonna give it an open source license, like Apache or GNU public license version 3, or?
I don't have this is anybody could write this code, man.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of sitting down and doing it. I mean, that was, I don't know. Go out there and play with it. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong and what was wrong. And, I like that kind of stuff more than anything.
Yeah.
It's all just, it was just me tinkering, figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, play with it. There's no licensing involved in it. There's nothing. I don't have anything attachment to it. I haven't published it anywhere. I published an excerpt on my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Only to see if there was people out there doing what I was doing, and I got no response. So you said Linux users group. I'm like, yeah, man, let me come out there and talk to you. If I get some response and playing, and I'm looking for people that are interested in like this kind of stuff. So
this is awesome, man. The only thing I've seen that's close to this would be Gruntwork.
did a lot with Gruntwork, did a lot with HashiCorp.
Yeah.
I'm a big HashiCorp fan. Gruntwork has some stuff out there, but nothing like that. Not that they published. See, that's what I'm saying. I know there's people doing this.
Yeah.
But nobody seems to want to publish it. So, I don't know. Maybe it's a wasted effort. I don't know. But when you talk about old data centers and maximizing, when you start talking money to the outside world, this converts that data center into a single compute source.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got to talk about the license after this. Seen a few presentations about that. Okay. Well, and anybody else have any questions?
I wanted to let you know that there's a upstate DevOps group here. They might be interested in what you're working on as well.
That's the groups. Yeah, that's definitely the groups that I seem to fall towards. I know me and Ben became quick friends when we started talking this kind of stuff. So yeah, man, I'm all about meeting with DevOps groups. I'm interested in AI groups. I don't know yet. I haven't learned anything about the AI ops yet, but other than it's a new buzzword, so I'm definitely looking at would love to learn more about it. I'd love to learn more with you guys and play around with what you're, take it, eat it up, let me know what you think.
Great stuff, Matt. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man, glad to.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, great. So we're gonna stop. I'm gonna stop sharing here, and we're gonna disconnect the meeting.
All right. Good night, Columbia.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, UC Log.